Welcome to my channel. Today, we are going to look at the whispering Wendigo forest, echoes of the forgotten beast. This is one of those stories that I have been dying to get to for a long time. The idea of a Wendigo haunting the snowy woods is just something that is so cool. So let's jump right into it. On the edge of a forgotten wood, where gnarled pines clawed at a leaden sky, stood the weathered cabin. It was a place where sunlight dared not tread, choked as it was by the overgrowth of creeping vines and shrouded in an eternal twilight. Even in the depths of summer, the air here was thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, a cloying sweetness that hinted at secrets best left undisturbed. Within this forsaken abode, nestled amidst the skeletal branches of the long-dead forest, there lived an old man named Caleb. His face was a roadmap of wrinkles, each line etching tales of a life deeply entwined with these woods. Now he was alone, or so he thought, for he was not aware that unseen eyes watched him from the encroaching darkness, observing him with an alien sentience. As winter's icy fingers tightened their grip on the land, transforming the world into a monochrome canvas of white and gray, the silence of the snow-laden woods was a deafening companion, broken only by the mournful cry of the wind as it whistled through the skeletal branches of the pine trees. Night fell early, shrouding the forest in an impenetrable darkness that was as much a character in these parts as the ancient trees themselves. And it was during these long, dark nights that the old man would hear it. At first, it was a mere whisper, a fleeting sound that brushed against his ears and vanished like smoke. He dismissed it then as the figment of a tired mind, a trick played by the silence of the winter woods. But the whispering grew, evolving into something more, a chorus of voices that seemed to emanate from the very heart of the snow-choked forest. They spoke in a language older than time, a tongue that pricked at the edges of his memory, stirring half-forgotten fears that coiled in the pit of his stomach. Then came the dreams. They crept upon him as the forest claimed the twilight, pulling him into their chilling embrace as he slept. He found himself wandering through the woods, the snow crunching underfoot, the whispers growing louder with every step. And then he would see it, a gaunt, towering figure that seemed woven from the shadows themselves, its eyes burning with an eerie green glow. It moved with an unnerving grace, fluid and silent as a phantom. Its antlers were like those of a stag, yet twisted and grotesque, more reminiscent of a nightmare than any creature of the waking world. Caleb woke from these dreams drenched in cold sweat, his heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. As the days grew shorter and the nights longer, the dreams persisted, becoming more vivid, more insistent, tearing at the fabric of his sanity. Caleb found himself drawn to the woods, compelled by an unseen force to the very edge of his property. There, amidst the skeletal trees, he would stand for hours, listening to the whispers, watching for the gaunt figure from his dreams. One such day, as Caleb stood at the edge of the woods, the whispering reached a crescendo. It swelled around him, pressing in until he could feel its icy fingers creeping under his skin. And then he saw it, the creature from his dreams, standing at the edge of the trees, its eyes boring into his with an otherworldly intensity. Time seemed to stop. The forest held its breath. The whispering hushed, leaving only the pounding of Caleb's heart to break the silence. It took a step forward, then another, moving with a disturbing fluidity. And in that moment, Caleb knew, he knew with a bone-deep certainty, that what he was seeing was no figment of his imagination, no dream, no nightmare. It was real, and as it moved closer, he saw that its emaciated body was like unto that of a deer, yet stretched and distorted, as though some cruel artist had taken the skin of a buck and stretched it over the bones of a man. The creature was tall and impossibly thin, its limbs too long and gangly, its back humped and contorted. Its skin, what little of it there was stretched taut over its bones, making every muscle and sinew visible beneath. Its head was gaunt and angular, its eyes burning green embers in the twilight, and those antlers, they were a macabre parody of their natural counterpart, twisted and gnarled, resembling the branches of a dead tree more than the crown of a stag. Fear, primal and overwhelming, surged through Caleb, paralyzing him in place. He wanted to scream, to run, to do anything but stand there frozen as the creature advanced. Yet he couldn't. His voice was trapped in his throat, his limbs turned to lead. It stopped a few feet away, regarding him with an unnerving stillness. Then it did something that shattered the last vestiges of humanity in its eyes. It smiled, revealing teeth that were long and sharp, more suited to tearing flesh than gnawing on a deer's carcass. And in that instant, Caleb knew that he was looking at a demon, a creature of pure evil that had come to claim his soul. Terror lent him strength, and he stumbled back, tripping over a gnarled tree root. As he fell, he scrambled to his feet and ran, crashing through the underbrush, heedless of the pain ripping through his aging limbs. He could hear the creature behind him, its heavy footsteps pounding the frozen ground, its mocking laughter echoing through the trees. He ran until his lungs burned and his legs screamed for mercy, until the forest itself seemed to be in pursuit, reaching out with its skeletal branches to snag him, to drag him back to the creature that stalked him. Just when he thought his pursuer was upon him, he risked a glance over his shoulder. What he saw made his blood run cold. The creature was not gaining on him. It stood at the edge of the trees, regarding him with a detached amusement, its eyes gleaming in the gloom. Caleb didn't need to turn back to know that he was being watched, hunted, stalked by something that had no interest in playing. He pushed himself harder, but his body, old and weary, was not built for this desperate flight. He could feel the creature's presence at his back, a palpable weight that seemed to sap the very strength from his limbs. Then his foot caught on something hidden beneath the snow, and he fell again. As he lay there, gasping for breath, the forest around him seemed to hold its breath, the only sound, the heavy tread of his pursuer as it approached. He looked up, meeting the creature's gaze, and in that moment, he understood. He wasn't just being hunted, he was being tested, examined by something alien, something utterly devoid of empathy or pity. As it closed in, its hulking form blotting out the last vestiges of light, Caleb braced for the end. But it didn't come. Instead, he found himself staring into the abyss of the creature's eyes. And then he knew he was not going to be killed, not yet. He was going to become what the creature was, a victim transformed into a vessel, a new host for the evil that had haunted these woods for so long. As the creature leaned closer, its fetid breath washing over him, Caleb felt a cold dread seep into his bones. The last shreds of his humanity were torn away, replaced by a consuming hunger, a ravenous desire to consume, to devour. It was as though something ancient and terrible had been awoken within him, stirred from its slumber by the creature's touch. With a final guttural screech that echoed the creature's own, Caleb gave in to the darkness that enveloped him. In the fading twilight, as the creature's form receded into the deepening shadows, the forest sighed. The whispering started anew, weaving a chilling melody that carried on the wind. The hunt was over, but the nightmare had just begun. Deep within the snow-laden forest, the spirit of the forgotten beast stirs once more. As the full moon ascends the night sky, its spectral eyes blaze with renewed intensity, reflecting the malevolent glee that courses through its spectral veins. Tonight, the cycle begins anew, and the whispering Wendigo hungers for the echoes of the forest. If you enjoyed this story, please consider subscribing and joining our community. Your support means everything to us. Thanks for watching.